Will you lead me to paradise?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Curtis, and today I'm going to review Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, The Reunion, Part 3. The episode starts off with Shamia and Porsha going back and forth about an Instagram post and also about their friendship in general. Shamia tells Porsha that she was grateful and appreciative of the fact that Porsha wished her a happy birthday on Instagram. Porsha tells Shamia that she's having a hard time believing that she was appreciative of the post because she was still taking shots and smearing her name after the fact. Shamia tells her that that is not true, and this prompts Porsha to call her a liar. Shamia tells Porsha that she is the one that's actually lying, so Porsha says, "Give me an example of a time that I lied." So Shamia brings up the post that Porsha made about their moms. Porsha tells the group that her mom used to have a brick and mortar for a daycare business. It appears as if the business was not doing that well because the property ended up going to foreclosure. Shamia's mom came in, purchased the building as soon as it went to foreclosure, and I was just like, oh, that is a little shady. I will admit that is a little shady, especially if they were friends at the time. Shamia, she doesn't dispute the fact that her mom purchased the building out of foreclosure, but she does dispute the fact that their moms were friends at the time. It appears as if this conversation is getting ready to escalate, so Andy decides to pivot and talk about the conversations that were happening behind each other's back. Shamia tells him that she regrets telling the ladies about the issues that she was having with Porsha. She goes on to say that the ladies were the ones saying that the friendship was lopsided and that Porsha did not have her back, and I was just like, Shamia, come on now, I need you to take some accountability. Drew chimes in and tells Shamia that she was the one who thought that the friendship was lopsided and that she willingly told him that information because she felt like she was in a safe space. Shamia, she continues to deny this, but Porsha, she calls her a liar because their other friends actually told her the same information. So her friends that are not on the show actually brought the same information back to her. Porsha goes on to say that Shamia has also been talking about her in interviews, saying that she did not want her on the show, and also saying that she tried to destroy her marriage. And this prompts Shamia to bring up the conversation that Porsha and Phaedra had about Shamia allegedly fucking Candy and Todd. And I know Phaedra was like, fuck, I'm never going to be able to get past what happened in season 9. Porsha tells Shamia that she was the one that almost sabotaged her own engagement when she went to the club and she kissed Candy. Phaedra chimes in and she says that she does not understand why something that happened in season 9 is being brought up in season 16. Shamia tells her that she is being asked these questions in interviews, so that's why she's bringing it up. Porsha counters this by saying that she has been asked the same questions during interviews, but she never says anything negative about Shamia. The two of them, they continue to go back and forth, and it becomes clear that these two are not going to be able to resolve the matter during this reunion. So Andy turns over to Shamia and tells her that going forward, he just wants her to tell people how she feels. So instead of holding it in, or instead of going to other people so they can tell your story, just tell them how you feel. Shamia receives it and she says, you know what, I'll work on it. Andy redirects his attention over to Drew, and he asks her about the video that went viral of her and Ralph in the kitchen. She tells him that nothing happened and that she was doing what she felt was best for the kids, who are currently in therapy. Porsha says that she's curious if Ralph ever comes upstairs after the kids go to sleep to try to fuck. Drew tells her that he does not do that because he's currently fucking somebody else in the basement, and the reason why she notices is because basically they receive an alert and a photo of the person's ID whenever somebody comes into the community to visit their home. And she goes on to say that the woman was actually at her daughter's school and that the woman was memeing her. And I was just like, what? This is crazy. Drew and Kelly get into a small back and forth about Kelly calling Drew a liar. Kelly tells Drew that she called her a liar because she said that she purchased something from her event when she noticed she did not. Drew corrects her and tells her that she did purchase some items, but, and this is a big but to me, she says that she did not purchase them at the actual event. She stated that the items were too small, so she got in contact with Kelly's personal shopper, and that person was able to facilitate the transaction. Kelly tells her that that does not count because the money did not go towards the charity. Drew tells her that she did not know that the money did not go to the charity, and if she had known, then she would have just simply made a donation, and I actually believe Drew on that. Andy asks Porsha how does she feel about the comments that Drew made about Pilar's college fund now that she has seen the episode. She tells him that it wasn't as bad as Shamia made it seem, and for me personally, I felt like Drew was being shady. It was light shade, but it was still shade. Shamia chimes in and tells him that, you know what, she shouldn't have brought the information back the way that she did, and that going forward she'll mind her business. And Drew says, yes, you know what, I think that will be best. You definitely should mind your business. I was like, God damn, Drew, can you please take your foot off of Shamia's neck for 1 second? Andy asks Drew if she's dating Ty, and she says no. He asks her if she's dating a person named Black. She says no. And then he asks her, once you get divorced, if you do get into a relationship with another guy, would you bring him on the show? And she says yes. Then this Ralph and Charles come out, and Ralph decides to sit behind Cynthia, and I thought that was weird. I thought it was extra. Andy asked me about Gerald. She initially says that, he's at home watching the kids, but eventually tells him that he did not come because this is not his thing. He does not like being on reality TV. Andy decides to get to the point, and he asks Dennis if he had a conversation with Porsha about working with Drew. Dennis tells him that he expected Drew to have a woman-to-woman conversation with Porsha, the same way that he had a man-to-man conversation with Ralph. Andy asks Dennis if he told Porsha that Drew offered pussy in exchange for beats. Dennis tells him that that is not true. Porsha asks him about the text messages, and Dennis, he starts hemming and hawing, so Ralph jumps into the conversation and tells the group that he read the messages, and it's exactly what Porsha said. He also tells the group that Drew told him that Dennis tried to flirt with her. Andy asks Ralph about the woman that allegedly mean-mugged Drew and was allegedly at the house, and Ralph says that she did not come into the house and that they're just working on something as far as fitness. And I'm just like, okay, Ralph, whatever you say, brother. Andy decides to pivot and he starts talking to Charles and Angela. Andy tells Charles that the viewers do not believe that he loves Angela as much as Angela loves him. Charles tells Andy that he does love Angela, but that he's not going to put on for the cameras as far as, kissing and saying I love you just for a scene. And it's at this time that Andy brings up the fact that a lot of the ladies did not know that he was married. He asks Charles if he was hiding Angela from the public, and he says no. Andy asks Charles, do you know Phaedra? And let me tell you something, Charles had his foot on Phaedra's neck, do you hear me? Phaedra tried to say that she met him when he dated Sheree, and he calls bullshit. She attempts to say more, but Charles starts talking over her, and eventually tells the other ladies that they need to worry less about him, and worry more about the fact that they are all divorced, and I said, damn. The episode ends with the ladies recapping season 16, and I did think it was really nice that Kelly told Porsha, whom she has been beefing with this entire reunion, that she hopes that her and Shamia are able to get back into a better place, and I really do as well because they have history. They've been friends since they were younger. I don't want them to let this show get in the way of their actual friendship, so I really do hope that they're able to get it together. I want to thank you all for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. I do want to say this really quickly. I do not think that this reunion needed to be 3 parts. To be honest, it probably could have been 1 part, or if they wanted to stretch it out, could have been 2 parts. But it definitely shouldn't have been 3 parts. But hey, we reached the end, so I am happy. If you all could, please like, comment, share, subscribe. That would be great. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.